Mari, thank you so much for joining me for this quick interview. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you for interviewing me. It's my pleasure to be able to talk to you and answer your questions.
Thank you. Yes, I have 4 questions for you. They're, simple questions, but they're very nice ones. So feel free to answer. And, I'm sure we're going to have a very nice time together here. So the first question I have for you is, can you please tell me the name of your company and when you started it?
Okay, my company, the name of my company is Experience Your World, and I started officially in 2013.
Okay, that's perfect. And 2013, so it's 10 years now.
10 years, yeah. We turned it 10 years. I started my, let's say, sending students abroad 1 year before, but when I took the courage to really go for it, it was in 2013.
2013. Okay, great. And how did you start your life in international education? You have so much to do. You have so many talents. Why did you decide international education?
Actually, it was after a personal experience. I think since I was very small, like a teenager, my dream was going abroad. Learning English was really a thing for me. And I didn't have a chance to go like for high school or even like for summer program or anything like this. And then when I was 25, I finally got a chance. And then I went for exchange program myself. So I went to Ireland to work and study. Then it was at the time I was planning to stay 9 months, but it ended up being 4 years, like many students. They go and they keep renewing. And so I had like such a nice experience when I was there. My English was very poor, and I really focused on learning, and it was hard, but it worked. And after like 2 years being in Ireland, I started working in an English school in Dublin.
Okay.
And I started like as an intern, serving coffee, photocopies, like helping the office with the students, anything. And after some months, they actually hired me, and I started working with bookings. Soon I was allocated for the junior program, working with teenagers, and everything was amazing. The school the school is one of the best schools still in Ireland. And I learned so much. And I was like, I would love to work with this. And the more I saw students coming, especially from big agencies like from Brazil, I just noticed that they were very bad informed. I was all the time like, how they don't know this or that. And then I had to come back to Brazil to finish my college, and I decided that I would invest on helping students to go abroad. And of course, I had a chat before leaving Ireland with my former boss to see if he thought it was going to be a good idea. And then he said, go for it, and gave me 2 advices, which were like amazing. And I carried with me since then, which were first, try to do differently. There are so many agencies in the market, and there are so many people doing similar things. Go for different. Then I decided, okay, the different now would be bringing teenagers, because the teenagers weren't very used to go for summer program. And the second one was keep your quality. Don't be afraid of charging. You will have to work so much for free in the beginning, but when you reach your point, just charge what you have to, because it's your work, and keep the quality. So that's what I did. I always remember this talking with him, and it really encouraged me to do like something different. And it worked. I have sent many teenagers. I have sent many more like more older people, like plus 60, plus 70, and of course young adults and adults as usual. But so that's how everything started, from my own exchange program.
Oh, lovely. Great to hear that. Would you say that your company nowadays is more to the teenager, more to the adult, or it's mixed nowadays?
Nowadays, I would say I'm very happy to say it's half-half.
Okay, good.
Yes, I think I have been working with a lot of teenagers. It was always my goal. And I'm so glad I see now them traveling around, like they go to England, to Canada, New Zealand, Australia. It's crazy. It's really, really nice. And the adults, of course, keep also going. And so, yeah, I think it's half-half.
Okay, that's good. That's excellent. And so you've been now about 10 years on the road.
Yeah.
Lots of things you have seen, lots of things. You've gone through pandemic, you survived pandemic,
Wow, that
so
was.
many things. How do you see the future of international education in this post-COVID world in your area, or maybe if you want to talk about your country or even the world, how do you see the future?
I think now people are more like, they realized that they should do things that bring them passion. So what I have seen is, oh, I always had a dream to go abroad. So now they're actually going. I see more people like interested in traveling and actually traveling, especially for studies purpose, because I think everybody realized, like after almost 3 years, man, they could do anything. And then now some people could save some money during the pandemic. Of course, for a lot of people, it was very hard, I think for most of the people. But some people, they really planned it. They started like planning something ahead. It's the same for the industry. When I went to my first conference after COVID, it was in London. And then I was so happy to see the partners, the friends, and then especially the schools, because I was like, oh, maybe now they are smaller, or maybe now the quality is not as good as before. Everything, we didn't know what we were going to face there. And what I saw was like a bunch of agencies and institutions who really grow. Like they took this pandemic as a step to go a little bit up. And I think this is so amazing. And it gives us so much power to say like, wow, everybody's going in a good direction. So I saw schools which were like before smaller, and then they were bigger, or bigger, but they're smaller now, but they have a better accommodation. Do you know what I mean? Or better quality of teaching. And I think people got a little bit more focused on what they're doing. So they stopped doing like, oh, I do everything. No, I do this. Do you know what I mean? And this is how much it cost. And stop it too much being more like too commercial. It became more, how can I say, more informal in terms of talking to to partners. We kind of choose some schools, and the schools choose some partners to work with, and they are investing on this relationship more. This is what I see. So I think it's a good thing. I think in the future we have more and more students going abroad, talking about Brazilians now. And one thing I have noticed also, people are now getting more information about even like higher education, which was something that nobody really thought before. I think after these online classes, all students, university, and do you know what I mean? And then they stayed home and they didn't know how really to do or to study. And then suddenly I see, I don't know, I see especially the teenagers, they are the future.
Yeah.
They are starting this going abroad, and they are very much more interested. And also, I have noticed some increase in people interested in other languages rather than English. This is something that I see some people like more interested in German, in French, Spanish countries, so nice, Spanish-speaking countries. And I think this is good. I think we don't have only English. We don't have only like Canada, United States, England, and Australia. I think the world is much bigger, and people are more open to this, I think.
Yeah, this is great. One more question. What is one important lesson that you learned throughout your experience and that you'd like to share with us?
We always learn so many lessons, but I think one that really goes with me wherever I go, it's about being humble. Because I think when you move to another country, and even if we speak the language, any changes, you have some challenges, you have to adapt. Everything could be difficult. Now we are not in among our friends and family. And then when I did my exchange, I remember in the first month, more or less, in my first job, I remember when they gave me like a mop to mop the floor. And it was like after hours, and I used to work in I don't know, like some grocery shop, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was like swapping the floor, and then I was very angry, and then I went home, and I was like, I don't want to do this job. What is this? And then after one next day, I had to go back to the job, of course, and there was a guy who was he was kind of bad to us, like very arrogant, or he was always also a foreigner, but he had a higher position and even a little bit abusive sometimes. Do you know what I mean? It was weird. And then I started to realize, I said, listen, that's okay. This is where I am now. This is what I have to do. I cannot keep looking at people and say, they're doing this or that. I just have to accept and being humble. And then this day I realized being humble is not like, oh, I'm a very nice person. I donate things, I help, I do charity. This is not being humble. And this is what I have learned, that was my lesson. And I said, being humble means you need to know how to listen things and be quiet, because you cannot answer your boss, or maybe because you don't know how to answer because you don't know the language. So I think since then, I brought this with me. And for example, when I opened my company, I opened out of nothing. I had not even $1 saved. And I said, how can I do this? And I decided to become an English teacher. So I was in contact with the students, and then I started to plant these little seeds about traveling abroad, and it worked. And a lot of people told me at that time, but are you coming back to your city? Things didn't work well in Europe or in São Paulo, where I used to live before. I had a good job in São Paulo. I used to work for market agencies. I had a very, very good career and prospective career. And I quit everything because I said, I don't want to be selling cars when I can sell dreams, and I can show people how the world is. And then we'll have a better understanding of people. When you travel, you open your horizons, you see things that you are not used to. So you start being humble. I think this is, and that's how I did. And this way, I opened the company, it worked. Then I remember when I joined my first conference, I was like, I don't know how I even ended up there. Like, I know I was there because I had the experience from my time in Ireland. But when I arrived there, I would talk to the institutions and they were like, okay, how many students have you sent? And I was like, okay, I have to be really honest with you. I'm very small, I'm starting, I have experience, but I still don't have customers. Do you know what I mean? That's why I'm here. I don't know anything. I need to learn. I only know about language courses and summer program. And they were so open to me. They were so like, well done. Thanks for your honesty. I'm sure you will you get it, what you want. And that's it. So I think being humble it's my life lesson so far that I can see.
Yeah, that's a great lesson. I mean, it's really important to be humble, especially when we are working with education and we understand that we know nothing. I mean, the more we study, the more we understand that we know just a little bit. So
Yeah.
it's important to be humble. Very, very good lesson.
Yes.
That's nice. I have a final question for you.
Okay.
You mentioned that when you are a gold winner, keep a gold winner. Well done.
Thanks.
You mentioned that when you were applying for the CPIEA, it was very important for you to write that application. It gave you some opportunities, some kind of insights. Can you share this with us?
Absolutely. When I started really applying for it, there was a time that I was really like, oh my goodness, I think I will actually close my business, my company. I'm terrible. I don't know what to do this. Because basically I felt as I was applying for like a business plan. And I really went through my company inside, do you know what I mean? So I saw all the weaknesses, and then I started to be a little bit like, oh my god, I'm not good for it. But then the more I kept working, writing, and doing things, I started to see my strengths, and I said, I'm very good at this. So it was so nice because it showed me the good and the bad about how I do. Nobody's perfect. I'm not like a businesswoman. I didn't grow up saying, "Oh, I want to be an entrepreneur." I never. Although I'm very now when I look back, I know I'm good at selling. I do this for since I was really, really like a kid, teenager. But I never had this thing in mind. Oh, I want to have a company, so of course I have so many weakness on this. Do you know what I mean? Especially on planning, organization, financial. Like you have to have everything. So somehow I realized that I did everything well. I'm sure someone could have done even better. Maybe someone, if I was a little bit more aggressive on marketing or on business, maybe I would be rich by now. I don't know. But this wasn't my goal. I wanted to have like I just want to have a profession. So I'm a student counselor more than a businesswoman. So first of all, I'm a student counselor and I love what I do. So when I applied for the Keep Your Words, I was like, wow, it's really hard. I have to know everything. Where is it? And what happened is after that, I really, I was so, with so much desire to improve my marketing, to improve my company. So this year, after applying, I started really a change. I hired my previous employee back. Do you know what I mean? I took some steps. I even challenges because I didn't know if it was going to be able to afford it or something. And everything is amazing nowadays. A lot of students coming, much more like mature. I think it gives me more like helped me to to get more maturity to go on. And
Okay.
that was only for this. Even if I haven't won anything, it would have been good already.
I understand. So the CPIEA application gave you an opportunity to look inside your company, see what the good aspects, what needs to be fixed, and now it's a brand new company, right? It's a new
Yes.
opportunity they're having. Amazing. Well done.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Everything is. I even changed the office.
It's beautiful.
Painted. You know what I mean? I just did so many things, small things that needed to be done, and the CPIEA Awards gave me this strength to go on and say you are on the right path.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, Mari, thank you so much for your time and this amazing interview. Well done again on your award, your Gold Award, and I wish you a wonderful semester and that your company continues, to grow and bring many more students to different parts of the world. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you. Thanks to all of you. And I hope really it encourages people to really apply for this and try it, because we cannot be afraid of growing. I think this is
That's a good message. We cannot be afraid of growing. Excellent.
No.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks to
care.
you. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye.